Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting episode of Loss of Lieutenant. Tonight, we have all travelled back from the great capital of Canberra, back from Cancon with some surprising and exceptional results, I would say, I think. And I think we're all a little bit on the up and up about what the latest ITS and updates have done for the meta. Which is actually, well, we'll get into it, but I think it's been quite interesting, quite a nice shake-up. But I love nice shake-ups when it comes to Infinity, because I play this game religiously. So, I am joined by my fellow host tonight, Josh.
Hello.
Jordan.
Hello.
Nick.
Hello.
And Jacob. And before we get into it, we do have a couple of little announcement-y things. First off, Patreon, if you guys want to support us and hop into the live chat of our recordings, you can head over to patreon.com/Loss of Lieutenant, give us $3 Australian dues a month, and that will earn you the privilege. Also, in the description of this video, you will find a nice little referral link to Baron of Dice, which will get you 5% off with code LOSS if you'd like to purchase yourself some lovely new Next Wave dice that I've been seeing previews for if you have hopped on that faction, or any other kind of dice that they sell.
Weird looking, but great.
Weird looking little gelatinous cube looking things.
Yeah.
They fit and don't
I like
fit.
them because they show some more variety in their dice that we don't normally see in the Infinity dice.
They are very unique.
I wouldn't trust myself to not try eating them.
The Tide Pod looking dice.
Man, look, I didn't understand Tide Pod kids. I kind of get it now, honestly. Like,
Two things, Jordan. There are such things as edible dice, and I have always wanted to take them, and then if I get angry at them, eat them at the table. The other really cool thing is, as it happens to be, that those dice are in my new wave color scheme of like turquoise and purple.
Jacob, guess what?
I should probably get them.
Guess what?
What?
The name of the faction is Next Wave.
Oh, did I say New Wave again? Fuck
they
me.
did.
He said it about 10 times at the MVMV in Canberra.
I know.
Anyway, we have a few announcements. Jordan, head us through some more events. Let's go.
Looking forward to it. All right, so coming up, we have the Talsvoda 2026 in Helsinki, Finland. I was saying that a bunch last year, and I still can't pronounce it. From the 21st to the 22nd of February, the missions are Corporate Appropriation, Provisioning, Cutthroat, Assassins, which is a custom mission, and Area of Interest. Tax Swap is not used. Just sounds like how we play ITS17, because boy howdy did I not use it all weekend.
Helsinki decided that QAZ creatures were banned, and now that tactical support options are also banned. Every extra is banned.
Okay, banning QAZ creatures, cringe. Banning tactical support options, kind of based. And then we have BrizCon 2026 from the 2nd to the 3rd of May. The missions are currently TBA. If it is like other BrizCons, tickets are going to be limited, so get on that pretty much as soon as it drops would be my recommendation. And announced today, Arcfinity 2026, Melbourne, Australia, the 2nd to the 3rd of May, same weekend as BrizCon. It is a narrative event, 200 points with Spec Ops, missions TBA that are entirely custom. I have read the Players Pack. You should look up the Players Pack. Tristan has done an incredible job, along with his helpers, in setting up an exceptional-looking event.
I will throw a link to the player pack in the description, so you guys can read it, give feedback on it, throw stuff at me, and we'll probably do some cool videos about Arcfinity in the future, but I am very excited.
Hell yeah.
Alrighty, Cancon recap. Who is up first? I
believe we have the breakdown and placement first.
That would be true. That would be true. All right. Unsurprisingly, the factions that got a bit of a buff in the October update and had 2 of their sectorals return, I think 2 or 3. Hanno, out of a total of 59 players, we have 12. Only 12? but 12 is still 20% and by far the most represented faction in the tournament. To I think no one's surprised, to be honest, because pretty much every sectorial of Pano is looking really strong. And there's a ton of flavor there, and obviously 2 of them are new returns that people who have old models might want to rip out again, so...
I'm actually surprised by these figures. Not only... Not by the fact that there were so many Pano, just that there were only 2 NCA and there was no Acontecimento.
Acontecimento is like, it's exactly fine. Like, they're perfectly fine. They're like, I think,
No, they're good.
I think maybe find them less interesting.
They're good. They're really good.
Yeah, they're good. They're perfectly fine.
Like, overall, I really like the spread on these because, so Next Wave is the only sectoral with 4, and that makes sense because Next Wave is the most recent. It's the shiniest, newest toys. Yep. People are going to want to put them on the table. But after that, we've got military orders, Kestrel, and OSS that have 3 players. And then everything else is 2 or 1 player per sectoral.
Yep.
So we've got 4 sectorals plus vanilla in Pano. We've got 3 sectorals plus vanilla in Yujing. We've got 4 sectorals plus vanilla in Ariadna. Kind of a weak showing from Hawk Islam. All 3 sectorals from Nomads. All the sectorals and vanilla from Combined. No vanilla Aleph.
Understandable.
Not a whole lot in the way of NA2. But then, like, we've got vanilla O12 and Starbata. We've got JSA and both its sectorals.
Perfectly balanced as everything should be with the 2, 2, and 2.
I would say for only 60 players, that's an amazing number of sectorals covered.
Gone are the days where I could be the hipster JSA player who was only the only one bringing it. Yeah. Crazy.
No, you're a faction favorite chaser now.
No, I know, crazy. Just retroactively a faction meta chaser because I used to play JSA and now I play Next Wave.
Yeah, excellent spread. I don't think we've had many events where we haven't had an excellent spread, to be honest. So the trend continues.
As mentioned in comments, I missed one. There was a Toha player, so even Toha was covered.
They were playing a big Toha too.
Yeah, sure.
Toha.
Ban Toha.
That's what Helsinki's going to do next.
Hell yeah! Next event, Toha's banned.
Next Helsinki event, Toha are banned. You may not bring
Toha.
I mean, the one thing about this list is it does sort of just point out. I was going to say what factions need help, but the bloody operations sectorial, huge representation there.
It gives the impression not of what factions need help, but maybe of what factions people find boring or samey. Like O12 hasn't really changed much since Torchlight. Aleph in general is feeling a little bit down after the loss of all the characters, and OSS kind of losing.
I feel like with OSS being as represented as they are, right? People love them. They really need to get that boost.
No, Rama surprises me. They would have done amazingly into this mission packet.
Yeah, that is a huge surprise, actually.
Hawk Islam just there's only 1 vanilla Hawk Islam, but 2 QK players.
I think that's one. Yeah.
There was one dude who thought he had a Saladin brew, and then 2 hipsters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like it's nice to see the QK back, but you're right. It is a little bit weird to have no assassins and no Raba.
I think if you look at assassins now, you sort of have to go, is there a reason to not just play vanilla?
That's fair.
You can't play triple Fide in vanilla.
Oh no.
It's probably just AVA for assassins. Do they have any unique units?
Can you get an IR in vanilla? Because I don't think you can.
I don't know.
I think they're pretty. I think they're pretty different. Honestly, like you get Asawira in vanilla, but you get IR. You get probably more Shujays. Obviously, you get more Fidays. But then people go, "Oh my god, I can take 4
It just-
regular mutts in vanilla," and you go, "Okay, I'll do that."
Ed just pointed out McMurrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, McMurray.
Yeah.
McMurrow's cooked now.
p- Potentially with like hackers, assassins, it's more the case that they were sort of not too long ago start the star of the show and didn't get a huge upgrade in the update, and that might just be people a bit fatigued on them.
Yeah, they probably play.
I think you're
I
right.
wouldn't. I wouldn't read too much into it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Just-
wouldn't either.
Oh no, I think Jacob's analysis is correct because a lot of our assassin players locally were playing a lot of assassins, and then the October update came out, and they just switched to something else, not because assassins were good or bad, just they'd been doing it for a while, and then had the incentive to try something new.
Yep. Makes sense. Yeah, excellent spread. It's not like half the tournament was rocking Pano, which is really good. I didn't.
I did like.
yeah.
I was a little concerned. I was like, "Oh no!"
I
But no,
wasn't,
it
because I
was a
feel
very,
like
very
in
good
general,
spread.
people want to play factions they have models for, and they don't want to proxy an entire faction. So in
Yeah.
that regard,
Yeah.
I'm kind of understanding why NCA only had 2 players, because people can't just pull like Bolts and Ulhans and Exila at their bum and start playing with them. Anyway, all right. Let's have a look at the famed top 17, because that's what I had access to. To no one's surprise, and I think most people have heard it now, the #1 Australian YouTuber, Robert Shepherd, has taken Cancon first place with Vanilla Ariadna, dropping only 7 objective points over the entire event, which is insane, and only losing, 75 points on average per match, I think, somewhere around there.
Something like that.
Yeah. Jordan doing pretty much the same, though, edging out Rob by 1 victory point, which is excellent. Which is the start of Loss's dominance in this top 17, which is Jordan at second with Vanilla Eugene, playing just
Getting the undefeated but not quite good enough undefeated run.
like the meat and potatoes Eugene and just using it really, really well. Local legend Ivory coming third with Varuna. We have Lost Lieutenant member number 2, Jacob with MO at 4th place. We have
so close to third.
so close. We have Spog, also undefeated, playing, what was it?
CHA.
Caledonia.
Yes,
Caledonia.
Mhm. Yep.
Yes, Ed, that is Ryan Kershaw.
It is Ryan Kershaw and Caledonia pulling some absolutely godly dice to become undefeated. Spooky Dookie. I don't know who Spooky Dookie is, and I don't know what
That's
they were playing.
Harrison from
It's
Adelaide,
Harrison.
that he was playing Next Wave.
Ooh, okay. Very nice, very nice. Then we have Victoria's most seasoned player. It's James, playing like 40 games from BCB till now on Invincible Army, which continues to be still a very, very strong army, even after the update. Then in 8th place, we have the 3rd Loss of Lieutenant member. It's Josh with Next Wave, a very disgusting Next Wave list. 9th place, we have Rob from Canberra, number 2. Rob Wright with Bakunin?
Like Corregidor.
Corregidor. That's a really good showing for Corregidor.
Corregidor.
shit.
Holding up top 10 is myself on NCA, which was very, very fun to play. Under me, we have Ryan number 2, Mr. Kirby, who was on Vanilla combined with no tags.
Correct.
I'll do this so people
Oh.
no tags starting on the table in big asterisks. In 12th, I think Leviathan is Mickey.
Yep, on Starco.
Starco. That's a great showing for
Wow, well
Starco,
done.
man. That's great. 13th place.
So much EM.
Oh, well, I'd love to hear about that. 13th place, we have local legend T.O. Peter on Shaz, which is really, really cool. 14th, we have the brother Luke on
QK.
QK.
Okay.
QK. Yes. 15th place, Vinecki.
That's Gwen. That's a new Sydney player who was on Next Wave.
Next wave, or no, they're dominating. 16th place, we have the absolute fall from grace BCB champion Val on Steel Phalanx.
Just catapulting down the rankings.
Absolutely. And then in
To
17th.
be fair to him, he was 1 and 2 going into day 2.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he pulled out the back-to-back.
He submarined
together.
himself into the top third.
Absolutely.
And then the 17th place, we have half Lost host, half Dante host. It's Dante. Playing Varuna as well, I believe.
He was playing Verona.
Very, very fun. Good spread. Obviously, 3 out of the 4 Next Wave players were in the top quarter of the players. Probably demonstrating that Next Wave is quite a potent faction.
Better than I thought they
You don't
were.
reckon?
I think part of it is not enough experience playing into Next Wave for most people.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's exactly what it was. Yeah,
It's a
That's exactly what it was.
combination. It's a combination of tools that some of their models have that is just sort of unknown to a lot of players, and it's hard to wrap your head around because it's
You've got a bit of Toha-ism that you've got a lot of. They're not weird names, but they kind of blend in with each other. And they just some of their profiles are just skill soup. Like Black Hearts are just skill soup. Like you go, oh, does it have this skill? It probably does. I'll have a look. So it's just. I think it's mostly down to like not understanding exactly how powerful some of these pieces are, but they are middling. I think they are, like Jordan just said about Acontecimento. They are fine. They have their drawbacks. They have their strong points, but I think they'll start to make their showing it as a kind of medium faction. Solid IBs, I reckon.
Did you find that Puzzlers kind of just like had that extreme Toha effect? We just go, you don't expect there to be a large EM template in the middle of the table next to a button, and people just went, oh shit, that's something that can happen.
Yeah, we'll talk about it a bit more in my recap, but Puzzlers are very, very good.
All right, so really nice showing from Loss, obviously. 4 in the top 10s. I think the best that we've done. So pretty happy with that.
It was
Mick
also
hit the
the
brick
first,
wall
I
that
think-
is Rob Cantrell.
This is the first event where all 5 of us have actually played since Tristan and I joined the podcast too.
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah. Unless I'm missing an event, I think this is the
Nope.
first time all of us have
No,
been playing.
last Cancon, it was all of us except Jacob, I believe.
Yeah. And then BCB, you were TOing.
Yeah, that's
basically
Unless you include all of us rotating through Gumbean for BCB. First event with all 5 of us.
Let's not count that. All right. So, little recap of the mission lineup. Day 1, we had provisioning, area of interest with the deployment flip to match, ending on crossing lines, and then day 2 was corporate appropriation and then hardlock. As we can see here, Jordan's 2nd, Jacob's 4th, Josh was 8th, I was 10th, and Nick was 31st. I'm sure
Nick, if I remember correctly, being the unfortunate stepping stone for a lot of the top 10.
No, just Rob, I think.
2.
No,
Oh, yeah.
Just
Jeremy.
Rob, but most of the rest of my opponents ended up in between. Most of the rest of my opponents were on that list of the top 16.
Yeah, there
Also,
you go.
I gotta say, I had some bad things to say about radial deployments when the new ITS season came out. I was wrong. Happy to admit I was wrong. Radial deployments are actually pretty cool, especially when you flip the DZs to match. I wouldn't have wanted to play the other way, just because setting up the tables with that in mind was already difficult enough.
I think you can kind of forgo that by just saying it's a radial deployment zone. Let's just pick which corners are the best.
You can do that too,
if you're doing it at a casual game or at a tournament, like if you just had one of these, like if you were just playing provisioning, get to your table, look at your DZ and go, man, this really, what they've set up for what it actually is kind of sucks. Can we see what it's like from the other way? It works.
Fucking
It's fine.
crossing lines, bangs as well.
Yeah.
I have nothing
Great
bad to
mission.
say about that mission. It is fucking excellent.
You obviously haven't played against a CHA player going first, then.
No.
For radial deployment for casual, one thing I've done is one person sets up the table and the other person decides, are we playing left or right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yep.
So that way there's not you're trying to keep it balanced enough and progressing your skills at designing the table, but at the same time, the other player can't say that you had an advantage for setting up the table.
Yeah. Cool.
I mean, I know CB's trying to be like fancy with it, with swapping them around, but ultimately it doesn't change anything.
It just makes it more difficult for people building a table at a tournament and more difficult for a tournament like a TO at a tournament, realistically. And there's no actual practical difference of flipping them for zone of interest because all the objectives are placed by the players and the buttons
so
in the
it's
middle. So
yeah, for the most part, it's the same with provisioning. Like you still put down the safe areas yourself.
yeah, but that one has three. It has three buttons down the center. But yeah,
Yeah.
I get what you mean. It's super easy to do, and yeah, encourage you to do that if you're running both of them at the same event.
Also, like, maybe a hot take. I really like Hardlock. It's what B-Pong should have been the entire time. Big fan of Hardlock.
Fucking
Actually?
hate Hardlock.
I came
No,
out with
I really enjoyed
a
it.
different opinion, but I can discuss that later.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it's fine. It's the same. To me, it's just capture and protect with more steps, whatever.
We'll get in. I'm sure all of
it's
us will have our
almost-
little Hardlock moment.
Yes. It's almost okay.
Yep. All right.
I love it.
Let's move on. All right, Jordan, you can catch us off.
Oh, cool.
Oh my god, what is
alright.
this bread and butter Eugene list? Oh my gosh, can I just copy these and win every event? Hell
Absolutely,
yeah.
you can. So I played Vanilla Eugene. I rewrote my second list like the week before the event, basically, because it just wasn't gelling the way I wanted it to. But my first list is called Tic Tac Toe. There were several times where I handed a courtesy list to someone, and they went, "Okay, number one, fuck you. Number two, where is the rest of the list?" I think on my courtesy list, like, there's 7 models on it.
Mm-hmm.
So in Group 1, we have a Yarn Ho with a Hyperramp Magnetic Cannon, Rushi MSV2, Dagging Lieutenant +1 Order, Gudan, a Zencha with Hacking Device Upgrade Trinity, a Pangolin Evo Hacker, Shaolin with DACCW, a Warcore with 360 Visor, a Hacktau NCO with a Heavy Machine Gun, a Flash Pulse Bot, a Thunderbolt TR Bot, a Mech Engineer with no Yaz out because I didn't have 3 points, and if I did, they would have turned the Warcore into a Sacha.
Mm-hmm.
A Tackaware Sensor Bot because it turns out they are actually just the best unit in pretty much every faction.
Damn
and
close.
a second Shaolin Monk with DACCW. My second list is Mo Wang Mi Susan. In Group 1, we have Gudan once again, a Sujan with Heavy Shotgun, Yanho Hyper Rapid Magnetic Cannon, a Shaolin Monk with DACCW, Zencha with Upgrade Trinity, a Weibing, so the Tackaware bot again, a Sacha this time, the MSV1 Rushi with the Red Fury and Mind Dispenser, and then in Group 2 we had a duo of a Mo Wang NCO Red Fury Disco Ballers with a Hideout Killer Hacker, Zanshi and Decoy Lieutenant, a Pangolin, just the 8-point baggage bot, and a second Shaolin Monk. This one I could only afford the Shock CCW one. Takeaways from these lists. Y'all know are fucked. Like, this just, if your opponent isn't running like heavy, like Mim 6 or smoke shooting, I was perfectly happy just standing it up on ARO. Like, there are very few things that want a gunfight with this for a turn. Like, it's just really good. This immunity arm is just kind of fucked as a keyword, and then the fact it also just is a warhorse as well. Like, the only downside is that it's religious, so you hopefully sort of just roll okay. in the Hacktower list, the only thing I really wasn't sure on was the Rushi and the Pangolin, but it was fine. It did its job. Like, it overperformed in a few games. I think if I went back and rewrote the list now, instead it would be cutting those two, making the Warcore a Sacha, and running a Yujing Beast Hunter and a Longya Mine Layer would be the change I'd make there.
Would it depend on the missions?
Probably. I think in general it might just be better. I think the Sacha is just better than a Warcore. Like, having you are very specialist hungry in Yujing, which I've noticed. Adding the Wei Bing to both lists was probably the best decision I made in the course of just list construction. It completed a bunch of objectives on its own, and I've noticed that people are just sort of vomiting a lot of shit into the midfield right now, and just being able to walk forward and go, Sensor!
Yep.
Is really helpful.
Yeah.
100%. How I know the Mowang I find is like a super controversial piece. People either love it or hate it. How did you find it?
So I was one of those people who fucking hated it. I thought Mowangs were stupid, even at the start of N5. And then you just sort of realize, like, so long as you're not trying to shoot like an ARM 3+ model with it, it kind of just does what you need it to do. And its main job is just escorting a specialist into the midfield. Like, Yujing would love to have a gunfighter with a good gunfighter that is also a specialist, just as one package. The fact that you have to split it up to a gunfighter and a killer hacker as a duo moves up the table really nicely. The Mowang fights most things on ARO, like it fights a TR bot just fine. Mimetism is really helpful there. If there's something you can't fight, it can disco ball it past it. And the fact as well that the hideout can both push buttons and also in a pinch throw a pitcher at like a decent range band is really helpful. And sort of the heuristic I sort of developed with Vanilla Yujing is that unless I'm specifically bringing a hack towel, I don't think you need to take the Daoying Lieutenant. I think you're fine just doing Zanchi and Decoy, because you don't really need the second NCO order on something like a Mowang. You need it on like a hack towel where it needs to either get the second order that wants that second order to like recamo at the end of the turn, or just to take an additional gunfight.
I see that. And that kind of extra, what is it, 12 points ish?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Let you get that Sujan and stuff like that over something like that Rushi, which probably is because that second list is rocking like 21, 22 wounds, which is it's resilient as fuck. All right,
it's got a lot going on.
Take us through your experiences.
Okay, so my goals for this event are the same they always are, which is to go at least to 3-2. I think 3 wins is just a really good thing to aim for. Have fun, of course, and also get blasted on at least one of the evenings, which I definitely did. It was great. Army of choice was Vanilla Yujing, mostly because it's something really simple. I'm familiar with that sort of style of army, and also because I hadn't played a game since the week before Burn City Brawl. I rewrote the Sujan list the week before Cancon and felt a lot better about it after I rewrote it. And yeah, focusing on just simple lists, ease of setup, and ease of execution. Like, keep it simple, stupid. Just play the thing that basically plays itself to help me get over the hump.
It definitely worked.
Yep. And then just some general thoughts on like where I think the game's at right now. I think mimetism is just the king of Visbods. I think it's just the best keyword currently in the game. Like, it's really hard to just argue with like Mim 3 and Mim 6 pieces just being exceptional. Flyers seem really good. Still pretty high variance, but like good, a lot better than they were. Especially like the Skyhound, I think, is probably very clearly like the best of the bunch right now. Like, Plasma is just super strong.
Yeah.
Pano were the best faction in the game, which is really fun to say. I thought Ariadna and Next Wave were maybe a little underrated coming into the tournament, but definitely don't feel like that anymore. The Swissel and Tusa are definitely, in my opinion, like the apex ARO pieces in the game, and you need to have a plan for them in your lists when you're building them. I didn't have an excellent Swiss Guard plan, and I think it definitely showed in my game versus Tristan. And above all else, specifically for Cancon, Cancon's a fucking endurance event, like more than anything else in Australia. Every other event here, you play 5 rounds and it's great. Cancon, you're fucking surviving 5 rounds in a tin goddamn shed. It's
Yeah.
like I felt awful at the end of day 2. I was like, this was. I feel so drained. I feel exhausted. I can barely focus. And yeah, there's just. I don't think there is another event in the country that is as much just an endurance event.
Or I think Nick would say in the world, potentially.
Yeah, we had
Uh,
on the drive back. This was the discussion on our different chats between cars. Yeah, it's the middle of summer. It's in a hot climate. It's in a noisy shed with a bunch of people.
Yep.
And almost everyone is also out of town for that event.
Yeah.
So you've
It
got
was.
both. You're either staying in a hotel or in a place you're not familiar with, but you're also trying to catch up with all the people that are also in from out of town that you haven't seen in a year.
Yep.
Or you're a
And I
psychopath
think.
like a couple of our attendants and camped.
Yeah, that.
I was
Ed
actually kind of
saying-
jealous of that.
Is
It would've been like-
it just
would've
because it
been
was
not
cheap? Actually, it wasn't that cheap either.
Well,
No, it's because they were like a 2-minute walk from the venue.
Sure,
Yeah, that makes life a little easier.
I'll sacrifice a 10-minute drive for air conditioning.
Yeah, Ed was saying that like I'm sure I looked sapped when Ed walked over. Part of the reason for that, Ed, is I think you walked over right after an over-infiltrating speculo had just like killed my lieutenant in the first turn. And I was like desperately trying to think of what the fuck do I do now?
Remember, you have Warhorse.
Yeah, remember I have Warhorse. Because yeah, I forgot that I had 3 Warhorses in my list. So I spent probably 2 command tokens I didn't need to spend.
All right, Jordan, any more thoughts? I'm not sure if you have another slide. You do.
He does.
I do have one more slide. Again, Cancon's an endurance event. 5.0 feels really good. Maybe 5.0 just feels really good. I'm surprised that I got there, but happy. Like it's nice. Keep it simple, stupid, but not bit. Thanks, Nick. This is the best ITS season we've ever had. I think it's not particularly close, and I think N5 is in a pretty fantastic place right now. And yeah, profiles for me that really did well over the weekend: Hacktow, Mowang, the Ganho, and Sensorbots. The Sensorbots are so good.
Did you put Sensorbots twice?
I think I did, yes.
Excellent. Tactical awareness.
Tactical awareness, there's a second one. They're especially good in the fucking random pano sectorals where you can link like 5 of them for some reason, and it's almost worth doing.
And if you've got a piece that you can just shoot up the board that you need to, yeah, it is. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
very worthwhile thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
It's like what, like a 2-point, or like a 4-point upgrade to across 2 units that gets you like just good. It's just good.
I think if I gave against Tristan during his turn 1, I was like, how many orders do you have left? And he's like, 10 in the first combat group.
Yeah.
Like, cool. Cool.
3 attack awares will do that. Are you sticking on Eugene? Are you shifting? Are you pirouetting?
I think my idea for this year is I'm going to sort of bounce between Pano, Kestrel, and Eugene, just sort of play whatever I feel like playing at a given event, because I have all of that painted. And my goal is to get all of that stuff completely painted by the end of the year. And then once the end of the year hits, I'll see if I feel like jumping onto something new.
Like next wave? The box
Considering I just sold the action pack Sans Pandora, no.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Okie dokie. Moving on. Jacob. You did pretty good.
Yeah, I'm pretty damn happy with 4th. So this is my 2 lists. We got my first list was my Seraph tag list. I think that was one thing I noticed in Cancon is as compared to, well, I think any tournament I've been to for a while, a lot of tags. I kept seeing them everywhere. There's Maroots, there's Longwangs. It's depending on how you count, even like the vehicles, just in the matter of size, there's tons of them. So 5th is turning out to be a good addition for tags. So in my first list, I had a Seraph with a Tech B, Knight Commander, +1 order, Brother Con, a Crosier, a Black Friar, basic flashbolt, a Fugazi, a Evo hacker, Mulebot, so the robot hacker, a Warcore, and then in my second group I have a Bulleteer, a Bulleteer Spitfire, a motorized Knight of Montesa paramedic, a Trinitarian curator with a Powerbot, a TR bot with Thunderbolt, and another 8-point baggage bot.
I'll just intervene and say the Spitfire is the the Seraph is the AP Spitfire, and the Trinitarian is the Killer Hacker.
Yes.
And then the forward observer. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, for this particular one, there's a reason for not having the forward observer, so that someone can't dive bomb a killer hacker and blow up my Evo hacker really easily. My second list is in the first group is a Knight of Sepulchre, NCO, APHMG, another Tech B. In this one, it's just a order because I don't get 2 Fugazis, another Fugazi Flash Pulse spot, 2 Trinitarians, a Killer Hacker, and a Forward Observer Mine Layer with deployable repeater, another Mulebot Evo Hacker. I then have Deferzen, Brother Con, and a Crozier with a Blitzen. This is the second group, as well as a Blackfire with a Crozier Paramedic, a Knight Commander +1 order, an Order Sergeant FDO Hacker with pitches, a basic Millbot, and a Warcore.
I am upset that in your first list, Group 1 is big, and in your second list, Group 2 is big.
I don't know what inspired me to do that at one point, but
you're a psychopath.
Chaos.
Technically, Group 1 in the second list is as big as Group 2 because the Knight of the Holy Sepulchre has NCO and the Knight Commander produces an extra Lieutenant Order.
Well, but the Seraph has NCO
they're
as
well. They're the same size.
They are the same size.
Yeah. List 2 feels to me like someone wrote it and then started shuffling groups and realized that Group 1 was smaller and just didn't feel like moving everything around again.
Hey, you got it, Nick. I was building the list and I had to shuffle things around and delete fire teams, and it ended up being that way because that's the way the app works.
I'm kind of curious. Go ahead, sorry, Jacob.
Oh no, go on, because I was just going to go through MO experience next, but ask your question first.
I was kind of curious with list 2. Did the Holy Sepulchre Knight feel restricted order-wise at all? Because even with the NCO, he's sort of working with just 6 orders until the Trinitarians reveal, or was 6 orders more than enough with the 6-2 movement it has now?
It can sometimes, but ultimately the main thing for the Knight of the Sepulchre is he's there to take those 32-inch firefights and then sort of Deferzen and the rest of his team do the rest of the orders. The other thing is this was made kind of specifically for provisioning, so the Trinitarians, if I went first, would reveal straight away, grab the boxes, take it to the safe zones.
Yep.
And so the Knight of Sepulchre is really only there to take out like a TR bot or something like that. Unfortunately, I have, unlike your Yan Ho, I haven't had much luck with this thing's armor. It keeps just exploding on me, which is purely a dice problem. Because I had a firefight with Toysa in a fire team with a Feuerback. He went explosive, so I was saving on 14s or something like that, and I failed 2 of them. So he just exploded straight away. He's a good piece. I just have been having really bad luck with him right now.
Cool. All right.
So just, I guess, talking about MO, I think MO is in a good spot. Probably the best I've ever seen it. Like, I'm talking even from like previous editions back in N3. They have good attack pieces with reasonable defense options. Their main weakness is they don't really have a good mimetism gunfighter. With like sort of an amount of range, you do have to sort of rely on armor and good BS, which is generally enough to cart you through. But there can be like Toysa up in ARO is going to be something difficult to fight because he's just as good a shot as you are. And if you get the neurocynetics one, he's getting his full burst, and each of the shots actually are doing damage.
Yep.
Seraph is a hugely dominant tag. Even for its sort of squishiness, the speed that it has with super jump plus like super jump 3 inches and jet propulsion means that even though the Spitfire only has 24 inches, you're not really worried about getting in range because you're just so damn quick. And yeah, I still haven't quite. I feel like, given the performance of my second list, I feel like I haven't quite figured out the infantry side of MO yet. I still have to sort of play around with like maybe the lists of like the Teutons and the multi-marksman rifles on the Justice or the Team Crux or the Father Knight.
I think the Father Knight, like the Crux Knight, would be really good in MO, but it's just overshadowed because it's so good in Kestrel. I think it's just good wherever you take it, really.
It's hard to argue taking like the Father Knight or the Crux, the Crux Knight or the Knight of Justice when Deferzen's sitting there and he's real shiny.
He is very shiny, yeah.
I think I think you're better off probably taking the Father Knight because you take away the hacking weakness and you get a bit more combat. So it just depends on how you want to shift it. So as far as results of CanCon, I almost one list this. My first round, I used my second list. But each sort of matchup, I chose to take my Seraph list. I think that was a wrong choice against you, Josh. I probably should have taken Deferzen and maybe would have been able to sort of get him underneath the hacking net that you would put out and like blow up Pandora, and he would have moved up with Con. And knowing the way puzzles are used, I would have been able to use his sensor to reveal the puzzlers. And maybe set up for like, I don't know, turn 2 or 3 where I could push forward. But I mean, in our particular game, I was hemmed in one way or another. So I was always a case where I had to like unpick my that situation, and my other list was far more defensive. But for the most part, I just applied Seraph to my problems, and it solved pretty much everything. BS 15, damage 5, AP Spitfire, that can move 9.4 inches is pretty fucking incredible. Most things just died to it. My opponents, I think, for a while now, have been getting really good with their armor saves, but even the Seraph can punch through everyone else's good luck against me. I tried to sort of similar to what Jordan was talking about. I tried to learn from my past experiences, and there have been too many tournaments where I had a plan for a list, or I had a plan of how I was going to tackle a particular mission, and I get in my own head and just change the plan all of a sudden, and it just goes to shit. So this time it was very much like, this is the plan for these missions. This is how I'm going to do it. Like, I'm going to go out, grab those boxes, finish my turn like this, and that's that. Or I'm going to attack and like not do much for the first turn and things like that. That came a lot in Hardlock, where I knew if I got first turn, it was just be aggressive and ignore for the most part all of the objectives because they only score at the end of the game anyway. Got good practice in at the eyeing 24 inches. I think going into a tournament, especially if you want to do really well, trying to get a good eyeball for like the very edges of your unit's ranges is important, because you just need to be able to make sure that you're still within that nice like comfort zone. The worst thing you can do is have a really good like fighting piece and have them out, like you are inactive and you outrange yourself and you're like, well, now I'm on -6 because of cover and bad range. And I suppose it's sort of interesting in CanCon, just because of the way my games turned out. I only played one full game once against Dante, all the way to the completion of turn 3. It was, for the most part, it was either I called it, I think, middle of 2 against Josh, and a couple of games earlier, just because of, again, Seraph applied itself, and it just dominated the games. It's a stupid piece. And as far as sort of the state of the game, I think with Next Wave having sort of come out and where everything has a zapper and there's just so much EM in that list, that EM has more so than ever been sort of brought to the forefront as almost, I would almost say, is as bad as killing a model. Just because it's on the field doesn't matter much. Right, the removal, it's essentially a removal of an order. Maybe you'll do something with like a light infantry that was hit by it, but the zappers and everything are just so dominant. Even like the EM mines. That's why I think like partly the puzzlers are so good. Is just because if they had given, like, the fact that they've just got those Emirats is insane. Are they Emirats or Emaulers?
Emerat.
Yeah, right.
Okay. I do like this season of ITS. I think the missions are all real fun. I do think, from what because I was sort of curious about this, I asked a lot of people how their game went and what turn they got. And a lot of the time it was sort of the same answer. So I think for like the first day, if you went first, you were more likely to win. The second day, while it was a little bit less with like corporate appropriation and things like that, because corporate appropriation kind of leans itself to draws. But it was sort of whoever went second, which is fine. It's sort of always been the way. It's always been that sort of way, but I just sort of wish. I guess I sort of wish it wasn't. I think some of the other missions, especially like Last Launch or the interference one, Alki interference, probably has less of a sway for turns. But I found Cancon was very like turn dependent. I agree with you, Jordan. Vismos are the king, and as far as I can tell, any ARO piece that has built-in +1 SD dice are just incredibly dominant ARO pieces. I only had to luckily deal with one the entire tournament, which was the Knight of Montesa with the Blitzen. But even then, it's like you come around the corner and they're throwing 3 dice at you. And again, the Blitzen being EM is so scary, because if it was armor or anything like that, I'd be like, yeah, I could probably take it or whatever. But because it's on EM, because it's 2 dice, half my BTS, and if it goes off, that thing is just gone. It's bricked. Right, I'm not getting it back probably for the rest of the game. Right, it becomes super scary. It's the same with the Swissel missile launcher. The consequence of failing against that shot is huge. And similar again to Jordan, I think if you are going into these tournaments, you need, right, especially with an X-Wave being new, you need a plan for puzzlers. You either have to have a piece that's good at dodging that you can like throw into where you think they might be, a piece that maybe is already irregular, like a beast hunter that won't care whether it's hit by a I suppose it won't get any more orders, but something that doesn't necessarily care that it gets hit by Emirat, or the sensor bots.
I think the solution is to force your opponent to try, like, reveal them. Either throw a sensor bot where you think they are and censor them, or
Yeah,
present too juicy a target not to take it. Because like if your opponent's really clever, like a Swissel or anything like that, if they hold them back to a key moment, that can almost win you the game. Just EM templating something that you spent 3 or 4 orders on in turn 3, and all of a sudden you cut that short. You're like, well, yeah.
No, those pieces, the hidden deployment. I think the fact that the fire team rules have pulled back on how good fire teams are is meaning that ARO, especially with like the SD dices and Vismods, are like hugely impactful now, where you can't just decide, well, I've got a fire team, everything's firing on like BS8, I don't know, 18s or something like that. Even if an ARO pops up and it's a really good ARO piece, I'll win the firefight anyway. The days of that are gone, right? The effective ARO pieces, I think, are somewhere within every single faction. They either have SD or they've got neurocynetics or they've got total reaction.
There is an element of AOROs switching to more delay rather than like hard stop. There's no more real, like, even I would even say now a fully linked Suryat is probably still more oppressive than a Swistle because you can smoke a Swistle even if it takes 2 or 3 orders. Whereas a Suryat on the certain table, like, you either deal with it or you don't deal with it.
Yeah, but that team, because you have to consider him with his entire team as like half your army almost.
Of
'cause how
course, well,
expensive he is, yeah.
Sure yet? You stick him with
No,
2 vanguards, and there's a pure Ares.
going
Oh no, well
going from
he said fully
N4.
linked.
Going from
sorry,
the
just to say
N4
fully
hard
linked.
lock of like AOROs were either
Yes.
super strong, fully linked
Or not
stuff,
existent.
or it was null
Yeah.
deploy. Whereas now, with the addition of
Well-
vehicles, a lot more movement, null deploy is a little bit less effective. There's a lot more objectives in the center line that you have to contest, otherwise you will lose the game, like in provisioning. So you need, I think there's a bigger focus on delay tactics with things like puzzlers and mines and
Yeah.
2 wound AOROs that take a couple orders and then you go prone, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
PR
I mean,
bots.
taking a look at Rob Cantrell's list, having the 2 tank hunters with SDs, right? Those ones you have to wait for like the perfect moment to like reveal them, because you want to do maximum damage with that one ARO just in case.
Yeah, I'd feel very comfortable with 2 tank hunter portable auto cannons.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that was my Cancon.
You're thinking about the guy with 2 tank hunter portable autocannons. I gotta say, this is pretty neat.
Pretty neat.
All right, well, that's a meme someone has to make right now. Send it to it.
All right, Josh.
Hello. I took Next Wave to Cancon. I didn't really think about it. I had the models. I had them painted. Let's take Next Wave. I also just wrote lists that I liked the look of. I ended up only one listing my event, so I'll read my list that I didn't take, which I have dubbed "Looking for Ali Bradley," which is a deep cut from Australian teenage school book reading. It consisted of Group 1 of Pandora in a link with a Stinger multi-marksman rifle, the MSV2, with a Black Heart plasma carbine, an R-drone, 2 Icadrons, a Gearhead Cyberplug engineer with 2 hidden deployed puzzlers, yeah boy, and T-drone, the BSTAC guided missile launcher. Group 2 was Patroclus in a duo with a Steeljaw with sensor, and then a 5-man link of 4 Harbingers, including my LT and a decoy, a hacker and a mine layer, and a Black Heart with a contender. The list that I took to all 5 rounds was basically just an exercise in shoving as much plasma into a list as I could. It had Chusa with Neurocynetics plasma sniper rifle, the plasma carbine Skyhound, 2 Icadrons, a Harbinger and Harbinger Lieutenant decoy, a Harbinger forward observer fire teamed with a Rain Dancer FTO contender, and a Steeljaw sensor. Group 2 was Pandora hacker with 2 plasma carbine Black Hearts, a Cyberplug Gearhead with 2 hidden deployed puzzlers, a Sarcher, and an R-drone. Like I said, this was just an exercise in just putting as much plasma into a list as possible, and it kind of was going to be my default unless my opponent had like a good answer to Chusa. So I'm thinking like a Guilo, or I guess potentially a lizard, yeah. And like just easy access to white noise. I didn't really want to have to deal with that, so that was kind of my plan. They worked out pretty well. I've kind of figured out how to use the list like game 2 and then promptly forgot how to use the list going forward. So losing game 4 was pretty rough to James. I'd forgotten how to use my list basically, and yeah, I wasn't able to take like safe. I didn't take very many safe plays and took silly risky plays. Could have carried me forward to definitely to the last round, maybe even potentially winning. I know Rob had a plan for Chusa, but
Not 2 black hearts.
not. But probably maybe not 2 black hearts because it's nasty. I really enjoyed playing this list.
One tank hunter dies.
It was. I think it was coordinate order. Val's
Yep.
coming in his pants right now.
It's basically burst 4.
It's basically burst. Well, this is burst 6 because it's 2 tank hunters with +1 SD, and 2 scouts. So that would have probably taken out Chusa, to be completely honest with you, unless they all miss, which does happen.
Didn't take out Chusa. That is the worst luck.
Yeah, well, the good thing about Chusa, he just sits right in the back of your deployment zone, watches the biggest lanes he can, and goes, "Hey, I'm going to take you out at, I'm going to try and take you out at 40 inches, and you have to deal with templates." It's like Plasma's gross, man. Plasma is gross. It's gross. You can flick to the next side, like Tristan, if you want. So I had some goals. Goals was to improve my Cancon record. I've played in now. This is my 4th Cancon, I think. And historically, I've gone, I think, 1 and 4 or 2 and 3 in all of my Cancons. So I wanted to improve my Cancon record. It's my worst 2-day event of the calendar, so pretty happy to come where I came. Have a well-rounded list that had an easy to execute game plan. Basically did, and have 5 funds games of Infinity. I absolutely did that. I hit all of my goals, and then some more, which was fantastic. Figured out some goals during the tournament, and figured them out. I had some great conversations with people about Next Wave and about like even their factions and their lists. I know poor Mickey in round 1 lost Nauf to a black heart before I could fight Chusa, and I was very scared of Nauf.
It's just everything about that interaction of like, let's get the fight that everyone wants to see out of the way,
and then a black heart goes, no. Bang!
fucking random dinosaur is just like
with an random dinosaur with an RPG. Yeah. But then Mickey told me that he just took the anaconda in every other game after that, and it did really well. So I'm actually, yeah. Oh, yes. And then he super jumped Spectre into CC with Chusa. And Chusa just fucking crits the pistol shot into Spectre's head. Spectre ninja dodged it with a fucking sword, but it was just like, oh, let's kill Chusa, and didn't happen. Had an absolute blast with Next Wave. Got lots of list ideas cooking. Next Wave is super, super fun to build lists for. Once you sort of get over the fact that it's pretty difficult to take Achilles in lists if you want to run 15 troopers. And then also that you can't really have your cake and eat it too. You've got to make a compromise. And luckily, I don't think hacking's definitely taking a downturn in the Australian meta. And so you don't have to go super hard into hacking, which Next Wave doesn't really do that well anyway, so that's pretty good. Like Jordan said, you said flyers are good, but I think they're too high variants to perform consistently for 2-day events. I think the ones that make that kind of get away from that are ones like the Skyhound that have a secondary objective, which is throwing out those mine dispensers. being able to piff 2 mines out on 14 somewhere is pretty invaluable.
Yep.
I know that the fake one has pitches that it could probably do something with. There might be some other ones, like other things out there, but the ones like the red eyes that are just I'm gonna kill things, I think they're too high variance. Except the red eye has spec fire, which makes it a little bit better. So as long as you're using, they're not pieces that you can just throw out willy nilly. I was definitely too aggressive against, say, James with my Skyhound, and it kind of just backfired. But then I kind of used it in my game against Tristan turn 2, and it proved to be very, very effective. Chusa's an absolute beast. He's like a fire team in a can. So fucking good. I know that I think statistically the Feuerback is the better profile. A linked Feuerback is better than than the Neurosynetics Plasma in terms of like wounds caused, depending on what you're fighting. But Plasma is just such a useful thing, and the sniper rifle range bands are so good.
Plasma swoops people more as well.
Yeah, Plasma's the best. Puzzlers are, I think they're in contention for the best profile in the game. They are cracked good. They are so, so good. EM is crazy. Glue is crazy. Just being able to fucking move 8 inches and then drop a deployable repeater somewhere is crazy. There's just there's like they do so much. They're very, very cool profiles.
They're probably one of the best force multipliers I've seen since like Moran's.
They're very, very good. And Moran, you know what's coming. You see a Moran. A puzzler, you have no idea where it is. Could be anywhere on the table. I'd probably be pretty tempted to roll that infiltration roll. They're like rolling it on 7, so probably maybe not. But could be fun.
Infiltration phys equal 12, so 9s.
Oh, they're rolling it on 9s. Fantastic. They dodge like mofos. They're just so good, and they apparently they just survive every hit that's thrown at them. They're crazy good.
Rubbing salt in the wound.
If I reckon there is one thing that would make them the best profile bar none in the game, and it's if they have dogged. If they had dogged, they would be. Oh, they'd be crazy, crazy good. But like for now, they are perfectly great.
Like I feel like in our game, they performed averagely, and even so, like
an average performance on them is just like so. Like we're talking about flyers being really high variance. Like puzzles are so skewed towards like performing well. It's like it like doesn't even begin to look
hard
like a normal
to
bell
do
curve.
poorly with them.
Yeah, it's I mean you have to be careful with them. You do have to be careful. You can't just reveal them for no reason. But especially in the face of people that have like good MSV long range gunfighters. But they're still just crazy good. Even if you kill the gearhead, they're still useful. It's crazy. Bloody Cyberplugs was cracked rule. Cracked rule.
And the other thing is, I just wanted to check that they also don't like them being hidden doesn't lose you an order because they're just like a weird peripheral.
No, they are peripherals, and like you can be crazy aggressive with them because it doesn't matter. You just lose 12 points and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, you could also be just like really cagey with them and hold them back as much as you possibly can until the perfect moment. Because other than missing like the perfect opportunity, they don't lose you an order. So it's not like my Trinitarians or anything. The gearhead's the only thing you care about.
The best part about the best way to use them, I think, is either overlapping an ARO where you could just lay an EM template on somebody who's trying to kill Chusa, or if you're like when their second short skill has to be pull something out of a box or like score an objective or something like that. Just going EM, they go, oh, if I fail this, I can't do this again, and makes people really go deep in the tank. And that's where you want people to be when you're playing in tournaments like this. Like when someone has to like sit there and think about what they're doing, that's where you want to be.
100%.
It's a perfect example of like the best defensive pieces are just the ones that waste orders. Don't have to kill anything.
And
if you can waste 5 orders of your opponent, and then it dies on the 6th, cool. You've just wasted 6 orders on that person.
I would drop a TR bot to put a puzzler in. Like that's like they're so good.
I can understand that.
Yes, I would have a list of just puzzlers.
If I could, I would. If I could take 4 in every list, I would take 4. Unfortunately, they're only AVA 2. I wonder. I would like to see how they go in vanilla combined, but that has a bit of a bottom end.
I've been trying to get them into vanilla combined lists. The problem is Dr. Worm
is expensive,
for
right?
Cyberplug is 24 points
and
before you buy
and half an SWC.
Is it?
Yeah, and half an SWC, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that. But compared to Next Wave, where like if you want to go bare bones Cyberplug, it's 13 points. If you want a specialist Cyberplug, it's 17.
Yeah.
I mean, at the very least, Dr. Worm retains Doctor and Engineer, with the Gearhead doesn't get Engineer if he has Cyberplug.
No, he does. I think.
No, he doesn't have. He's not half an SWC. Not in the. I thought he was. Oh, cool. Never mind then.
So you could get.
Oh, you can, right?
Access to Cyberplug so much cheaper in
Next Wave. Yeah.
Like trying to build for Cyberplug in vanilla, I'll do it and then look at it and go, or I could put Sheshkin in because that's the same number of points.
He's half an SWC in Next Wave. If you want to take Cyberplug
to push you toward Gearheads, if it wasn't for the fact that he's already more expensive than them.
How dare you have a Doctor Engineer with Cyberplug? You must pay for the privilege.
Fair enough.
All right. Are you done, Josh? Any closing thoughts on the state of the game?
I don't agree with Helsinki's thing to.
Do you want to mention tactical options?
Yeah, it came. We had 2 missions with tactical support options in at Cancon. We had provisioning and
hardlock.
In provisioning, I don't remember if it mattered too much. Mickey can correct me in the chat if I got that wrong. However, in hardlock, it mattered a lot. Tristan and I played game 5 together, which was awesome. And Tristan's last order of the game was to reveal his literal last trooper, which was a locust killer hacker within 4 inches of the box, and it swung. Were he able to press that button, because he failed to press that button on that order, he would have swung my 7-1 victory into a 4-all draw. Then we started packing up afterwards, and we had written the score sheets down, and then Tristan puts his hands to his head and went, "I had a re-roll," and I go, "Let's just roll it." He rolled it. It came up good for Tristan, and it was a 4-all draw. It was so.
Josh was very, very kind and very gentlemanly.
Very gracious.
Very gracious.
Isn't there also one that just lets you automatically get 1 roll?
Automatically succeed. However, however, you have to give that to a model, and that model has to be on the table.
Right. Yeah. So the other one is
no.
There's one that lets you auto succeed, but you have to play it before you roll. You don't get to roll.
See
first.
if you roll. Yeah.
Well, that
So
makes sense.
Yeah,
I had
your
that
one
in-
that you rolled is your 1 year old is if you fail a roll, you get
You
to,
get to roll
re-roll it
again.
once.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think you rolled like a 14 and then you rolled it like an 8. So it was super fun. And like the fact that it came down to tactic support option, a rule that we kind of poo-pooed at the start of ITS season 7 makes it all the more sweeter for tac soup. I think they're awesome.
Yeah.
I think they're very good. They can shore up. There's some variants, but they can shore up some pretty big defensive, and they change the way you use your troops if you've got like sensor on a specialist, or one's got a random blitzen or something like that. You go, oh great, I've got this tool that I can use now. I think there's definitely a lot of play to them.
The main thing I'd always do is just, at the very beginning when you draw them, just ask your opponent if they drew the cancel, and then just throw your card away.
Will you reveal them together?
Some of them you don't have to reveal.
Tax support, you reveal them together. They're open information.
Oh, are they? Oh, okay.
Sorry, Jay. We don't expect anyone to know how it works because none of us have. Well, except for Josh, has read the whole page probably thoroughly.
Just to see whether I could get one up on Tristan. I wanted to come third, damn it! No, it's so worth it. So worth it to not come third. It would have felt horrible, to be honest. If I wouldn't have felt like I deserved it if we had if we'd come to the conclusion that I'd won. I don't think I would have deserved it.
I guess we can. I'll get into it a little bit now, but Hardlock as a mission, specifically from our game, has kind of radicalized me as to why I dislike it. So you went first, and you basically tabled me with the Skyhound. You did a really cool thing with the mines. You clipped the Swiss Guard. For reference, I revealed the Swiss Guard the very first order of the game against Josh's Skyhound, which ran forward, and I went, if I hit it and it dies, cool. If I miss and Josh tears into me, that's what happens, and that's what happened. The Skyhound passed a dodge, I think, and I missed the shot.
Yep. And
then the Skyhound went, woo! It still took Josh a solid 2 turns to get rid of the Swiss Guard, using hacking and everything. And I'm like, eventually it just died. So at the start of my turn, I think I had 3 orders and the Locust, which was in hidden deploy. Josh had 2 buttons and was touching my beacon and had the classified. So it was a 7-1 right there. If I was clever and the Locust, I remembered it during that order, the Locust would flip the button, which would make it a 4-4 draw. I then had a command token to coordinate a bolt, an auxiliar, and something else that tried to shoot at you, to shoot a black
Can't coordinate auxiliar, but that's fine.
True. Yep. I would have had...
It was a blocker and a bolt.
That's right. Yep. So I would have had those 2, and there was a black heart on a single order, and if I killed that, it would have become a 5-3, I think. And basically having nothing, Josh having lost pretty much only a Skyhound and taken a wound on both black hearts, that feels like too much of a swing for me to do in 2 orders.
The game. I liked Cardlock. I didn't mind Hardlock. If you can, the problem is that like a couple of the points are really, it'd be very difficult to 10 zip somebody. You have to really, really do some damage to 10 zip somebody. I think it's a cool mission.
It's always been that case with the grab beacon, pull it back.
The thing is, you don't have to pull it back. So the Hardlock reminds me of the worst aspects of acquisition and capture and protect, because the beacon doesn't actually matter. Realistically, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of the game, and the buttons offer, like, just flipping one can be a flip of what, 3 points either way. So it's a 6-point swing for one button potentially. So the first player realistically has to have all 3 buttons pressed at the end of their 3rd turn. and also kind of like really put the boot in really well. So if the first player flubs, it feels like the second player has way less pressure on them to perform anything but average and take zero risks until the end of the game. And things like the hidden deploy specialist is just extremely strong if you're going second. I'm not sure what you guys think, but
I had similar experience. I went second into my game and basically just kind of faffed about and just didn't really like do anything I just kind of didn't engage for 2 turns, and then on turn 3 I went up and pushed 3 buttons.
Yeah.
And happened to end up within 8 inches of her like HVT, I think it was, for a 6th point.
Yeah, and that's always like the way that Hardlock scores, the fact that 50% of the points are just pressing buttons and just getting more of them. You're right. It is a bit too swingy, that particular mission. I feel like there needs to be some more constant like focus on something to do with the beacon.
Yeah. So I've been trying to come up with a way, because it is so close to being balanced, but it is just too far over that line.
My idea was always my idea was always being like frontline, having scoring zones for the beacon, so you can drag it a certain amount backwards.
So my thoughts for fixing Hardlock scoring, to try to like minimize the amount of change, is to reduce the OP for having more buttons pushed to 1. So that way you only get 4 points for buttons. So you can't just like, I do nothing and then I get a 5-point victory. Take that 1 OP and add a new item in there that's at the end of the game, control the enemy beacon in your own DZ for 1 OP. The other option is another classified. Like I think you need to reduce the OP from buttons by 1.
You do,
and that
100%.
should be pretty easy. What to do with that other point?
Currently, so
I've got ideas, but yeah,
what we haven't mentioned is it is actually a detriment to the first player that they have to press a button before they can grab the beacon. So the game plan of the first player, if they want to grab the beacon, they have to spend orders pressing a button first, which, as we all know, grabbing a capture and protect beacon and running it back to somewhere safe where that thing isn't going to die is already a monumentous task. Having to press a button or reveal a midfield specialist or something like that. Like, I know it can be easy, but it's an extra little bit on top that's taking away from the alpha and taking away from the potential of running that beacon back. Means that the first player just kind of ignores it most of the time. It either puts their boot in and does well, or puts their boot in and bounces off, and then the game kind of plays in a predictable way.
Yeah, I mean, maybe add you can't score something to do with the beacon on the first turn to allow that first player to just do the
You're really tunnel visioned on the beacon, and the beacon is a trap.
The beacon's already hard enough for not enough points.
Yeah.
Like you're super tunnel visioned on the beacon, but it's just not worth dealing with. That's part of the issue with the mission. Is there's not enough reason to go for the beacon, and if the person going first does try and secure it, they're in some ways almost trying to throw the game because they're not getting points for pushing buttons, and they're not able to boot to neck their opponent hard enough. It is really favored going second because, you know, I've said, I think everyone's probably heard it at this point. Like I dealt with an over-infiltrating specular that killed my lieutenant on the first turn, and the game still ended up as a 6-3 win even after that. I was decached as well, and I did not get to do the mission until turn 3, but going second, that's all you need.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
necessarily say Hardlock's a bad mission. I just think it's very,
I think it's great.
it's N4-esque in an era of N5 missions.
Mhm.
So it feels nostalgic in a bad way.
Mhm.
Like, I'm sure
Ah.
there will definitely be good games of Hardlock, but I can see very predictably where there will be bad games of Hardlock.
Yeah, I think it's a better version of Acquisition.
Yeah, sure. It kind of has a similar problem. It's better in the sense that you actually have to press the button to flip it, whereas in Acquisition, you just need to touch it. So there is
Yeah.
a demand there, but yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I wasn't a massive fan of Acquisition either, so. All right.
Yeah.
That's enough about Hardlock.
Mhm.
Boom, me. I came 10th thanks to the generosity of Josh. Now, my first list was everything except corporate appropriation. So I decided to go balls to the walls. As we know now, sensor bots are absolutely busted. So my group 1 is an Orc HMG linked with 2 sensor bots with tactical awareness. We then have the Bolt multi-sniper linked with the Machinist, which also has a keyword, very lovely. We have an Auxilla FO with the deployable repeater. We have a Fusilier LT and no decoy because I am serious. We have a Mulebot. We have a Flash Pulse. Group 2, this is the Swiss Guard list, so we have the Swiss Guard missile launcher just to try it out. The last minute addition is the Locust Killer Hacker, which turned out to be the MVP of the tournament. We then
-3.
Yeah, very good. We then have the Blocker, unlinked. We have a TR bot, which also did incredibly well. Another Auxilla FO sensor bot and a Tech B. Yes, my TR bot nearly pasted a Hacktow in a single order in ARO.
It wasn't even that. It was the fact that you just actually got to live the YouTube short.
Oh, I did, man. It was so good.
Like, I swear your eyes almost
What
rolled
do I
back
need?
into your head. And
What do I
then
need? 5s? Oh, there's 2 5s.
it was the fact that it was, I'll fight it once. Okay, he's crit me. I'm like, okay, tank the saves.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll try it one more time. And he crit me twice. I'm like, all right.
Especially since that first roll off was I needed 2s and I rolled a 2. And the second one I
Yeah.
needed 5s and I rolled 2 5s. I got
No,
incredibly
it
lucky.
was it was 5s both times.
Was it 5s both times?
Because I'd revealed the Hacktow to kill the Orc in the first go round.
My dice just love 5s.
Your dice were cooking, man.
They were.
It was because I think you're always the one that says that I never look tilted. I feel like I looked pretty fucking tilted after that.
You were concentrating a little bit harder after that double crit, I will say. So unsurprisingly, double sensor bot is incredible. I had a plan for provisioning, and that was just run 2 sensor bots to the middle box, grab them both, run away. When you have 9 orders after docking to do that, after 9 orders, there wasn't any major hard AROs, so I just both boxes were in the safe area. Group 2, one Auxilla grabbed the box from one of the other sides, popped it in the safe area. So at the end of turn 1, I had 3 in the safe area and a Swiss Guard and hidden deploy. So that all worked very well. Area of interest was against Jordan. I had way less of a plan, and I was very much showing my inexperience this game because we
And we were on
both
such an open table as well.
went murder mode, and I completely forgot there was even a button in the center of the table. So the button
You just ignored it.
The button didn't get pressed by either of us, even though it doesn't require a roll and is basically free. Neither of us did it. And we fought for the most minor of wins with a Hacktail plus 1 inch dodge, getting Jordan the win
Actually won the game.
for being 2.5 inches away.
And then and I miscounted orders, so I thought I'd won the game earlier in the turn. But I just miscounted the number of orders that Shaolin had. So I'm like, God fucking damn it. It was a
close game.
mess.
It was a very
It
close
was
game,
an
a very
absolute
messy game.
mess of a game.
Yep. I need to play more Area of Interest so I could actually get an idea of how to play that mission
think-
because it's
Like, I looked at that group 1 and I'm like, do I even bother docking orders from it? I think I ended up taking from group 2 because I
You did.
assumed that's where the Locust would be.
Yep.
And I'm like, this will actually affect something because like you can't affect that group 1. There's just nothing to do there.
100%. 100%. So my list 2 made specifically for corporate appropriation because NCA kind of lacks a little anti-material if you build that way. We have the most N4 of links with a Bolt Sniper, Blade Engineer, Shona, a Pathfinder Sensor Bot, and a Blocker. That is only a level 2 link, but it has all the goods. We have another Auxilia FO, Fusilier and Decoy, Flash Pulse, and then Group 2. This is the Ulhan list because I have a real Ulhan and I wanted to throw it on the table. So we've got the 70-point Ulhan. We have the Hexa Sniper because I wanted to go first in corporate appropriation. The counterintelligence is good. And every list of NCA I've run without something in hidden deploy, I felt that my list was too... I'm blanking on the word, but it was too open to my opponent. There wasn't anything for them to really second guess. So that Hexa there actually really did some work because my corporate appropriation opponent was Hector, and the Hexa was definitely a problem. We then have the Deva Killer Hacker, another Auxilia FO. As we'll know, Auxilias are absolutely insane. Not quite to the level of Puzzlers, but they're not far off.
The fact that Oxbot is a specialist is incredible.
They both have deployable repeaters. So in 3 orders, you can place down 6 deployable repeaters if you really want to. Like, this area will have a repeater, and you will not stop me. And then we ran out the group with a Tech B and a Fugazi drone bot, number 2. Ulhan, unsurprisingly, to anyone who doesn't know, is the best tag in the game, and it's not close, really. Every time I told Hector one of its rules, he kept giving me this incredible shocked face. I'll go, it has Warhorse. He goes, what? I go, yeah, it's a camo tag, obviously, but it has Warhorse. And he goes, oh, cool. What other weapons does it have? I'm like, it has a Blitz. And he goes, why? And I go, it also has a multi-pistol. And he's like, why does it have a multi-pistol? So Hector was incredibly
Because it doesn't have a template.
That's the only thing it doesn't have.
Yeah, because it has a multi-pistol. It's circular logic.
Yep.
Fucking Panzerfaust as well. It's just so silly.
Unsurprisingly, if you throw a sensor bot with Shona and just run them up the table, Shona will one-shot a prototype very reliably, and then you just absolutely smash the other one with Auxilia and deployable repeaters and AROs and camo tags and hexes, and nothing you can really do. So I only played this list once, but I had a ton of fun with it.
Just a billion things looking at the fucking prototype.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I found some deeper NCA musings. I've found that you can build NCA similar to O12, where every unit in your list is so specialized to their task that there is almost zero flex throughout the units. So for example, the Deva, if you lose the Deva, there is no real other killer hacking, and the Deva only really killer hacks. Like, it is a BS12 boarding shotgun, sure, but it's not that good at shooting. Things like Hexa snipers, like the Hexa sniper is a sniper. That's what it does. It shoots things. It doesn't do anything else. Even peacemakers, like, they're there to put down mines and be a roadblock. They're not really doing anything else. And if you build your entire list around these kinds of units, sometimes you find that, oh, I have zero kind of redundancy in certain things, and you'll kind of hit that point where you're like, I don't have any vision control to make up for it. So I kind of just have to do what I can do with what I've got. In that regard, I had the idea to try and take as many pieces that fill multiple roles. So the Swiss Guard exceptionally can be an active and reactive piece. Obviously, it's good at everything. The Locust is absolutely awesome because it is on par with the Deva at killer hacking for a single order, and then it becomes an exceptional gunfighter in the midfield, and it's also a midfield specialist, which NCA lack desperately. And that's exactly why I chose it as the killer hacker. I was kind of tossing up between the Deva and the Bolt. The Bolt links with the sniper to give it extra stuff, and it's got mines, and the Deva's better. But I went with the Locust. I was very, very happy I went with the Locust because a MIM6 a BS12 breaker combi did a lot of work. In the future, I think the Swissel is going into my case and not coming out. It feels way too strong. It feels way too brain dead mode to kind of feel rewarding to me. I can basically put it on the table and just go, I roll dice. If I roll well, if you don't have an answer, this is going to be really bad for you. But I don't feel like I did anything to kind of deserve that level of power. So
It
yeah,
sounds like you're trying to lull us into a false sense of security.
No, fucking, oh, no, you,
Totally
no,
not
just
going to use this
inject
anymore,
it
guys.
into my, inject that into my veins.
specifically, very specifically for casual games, it's not coming out. At a tournament, maybe, if like I really, really, really want to win, which hasn't really, like, I have never felt the desire to go all out and like be absolute sweaty nerd mode at a tournament. So I think like
Forgive me,
one
master,
tournament,
I must go all out just this once.
yeah, I'm only going to use
Swizzle
10.
in the list.
I'm only going to use 1% of my power from now on. My goal has always been 4 wins. I've never got 4 wins to the tournament. I got 3 wins and a draw. I'm happy with it. I played 5 great games. I played against amazing opponents. Honestly, this is the best Cancon I've ever been to, even considering the weather and all that, and the drive and all that. Yeah, it's definitely been my favorite Cancon experience. And props to Rudy for getting it to run so smoothly.
I mean, props to yourself as well for helping to organize all the fucking tables.
That was the easy
Yeah.
bit. I was just taking a little chunk away. Oh, one more thing before we get into Nick, because that's fine. State of the meta. Regardless of what anyone tells you, faction power creep does exist, but it's not massive. So vehicles, I think, while not necessarily powerful, and I absolutely agree with the rest of you guys that they're like very variants in how they play. They are another option for the factions that they get them, and they do solve certain problems that other factions don't solve, or other unit types don't solve. And they do very much read like a unit that can express themselves very heavily with high skill. So Josh, Rob, Nick, like pretty much everyone here, like if you've got the high level of skill and you know how to use that vehicle, you can absolutely abuse the thing.
One thing vehicles also
go
have going for them is that a lot of them are pretty cheap. Cheap enough to the point where that high variance, if you lose them, you're not out.
Yeah, there's an aspect where they're mid to high 30s, and you don't need to treat it as your game plan. It is a tool. It is not that it's as expensive as an Orc HMG. It has the potential to do more than an Orc HMG, but it's not like, I feel like we're at the time where I put vehicle on table, I want to use vehicle, I want to get the max out of vehicle. And I don't think you have to do that. You don't even have to use the vehicle turn 1 if you don't want to, but if you see that line to use the vehicle, it's very good at what it does. I think anyway, because like Josh running around the Skyhound tabling me, I'm like, yep, Plasma's good, Skyhound's good. Jumping 11 inches in order is very good.
they seem to be like you can put them in like your second group. They're your second gun piece, right? The other group has the main game plan, right? They're there to clear things out, or like in the case of the Skyhound, put down mines and shore up areas because they're so cheap.
So before the October update, we had factions with traditionally weaker shooting. I don't think there's pretty much any faction in the game now that doesn't have a minimum quite good level of shooting. Pretty much all of Ariadna has gained some form of BS13, BS attack -3, or MIM3, tank, like a tank hunter. Even the Blackjacks have BS -3. The Moblots have mimetism with AP guns and tactical awareness. I think every faction's shooting has been brought up to a level. In that same vein, quite a few factions with weaker hacking options have been given something to compensate. So Pano mainly has been given really excellent hacking projection options, even if they're not the number one quality hackers. They definitely have the ability to impose their hacking across the entire table. There is an aspect of this, I think, that potentially muddies the line of faction identity. You can play Pano now as like a weird hacking-centric list if you want to. But on the same vein, I think it's impossible to express a good display of all aspects of Infinity in a single list. So you're not running an NCA list with an Ulhan, a Swiss Guard, and then a bunch of hacking dominants. You do have to give something up. It's just given the factions more options of expressing themselves. So like Rob, if you went back a year, like vanilla Ariadna or TAC would not be going, oh my god, why are you shooting me with this absolute mega cannon of a unit and deleting things in a single order? This does not feel like Ariadna. So if anything, it just provides more interesting ways to build more lists and kind of make everyone feel a bit more comfortable in taking certain things. All right, I'll stop now. Go for it, Nick.
So I one-listed the event. I only brought a single list. We'll get into why shortly. Same one I presented, I think, last episode. Single group limited insertion. Syriot, HMG, Lieutenant plus an order. Timbot Firewall -3 for all the Umbra. 2 Umbra Legates with Hacking Device Plus, 2 Umbra Samaritans with Hacking Device and Hacking Device, or Killer Hacking Device, Icadron, Flashbot, Missilebot, and then a Malignos Killer Hacker and a Fracta Hacker.
Namely, not order stealable. We cannot
Correct.
dock you.
Yes. If this goes first, it has 10 counts as orders on the board, even though it functionally has 12 because of the 2 NCOs and 2 lieutenant orders.
Absolutely. All right.
So my goals were a little different than the rest of them. I went in with the 3 goals of survive the noise, because of last year, have fun, and use dazers in a meaningful way. The mid approach was like I brought multiple noise cancellation and noise suppression devices. Went with a single list that was limited insertion, that I was familiar with, that I was comfortable with, even if it wasn't as tailored to the scenarios as it could have been. I just went for something that I was familiar with, I was comfortable with, and I knew I could just keep performing with, even if it wasn't the most optimum. So, thank you. As far as the first part, success. Not a paid endorsement. I brought the Loop to engage earplugs, and after they were recommended by some other people in the meta, and that was sufficient. Nicely brought everything down, so the aircon was out, and while I still had to work to pull the voices out of the background, it at least reduced the cognitive load to a sustainable level, and it wasn't constantly agitating from the high level of noise from the hundreds of people also talking in the same room. There are probably some better solutions I can come up with more work, but this was easy, didn't have to charge batteries, and was sufficient. Though I've gotten addendum to that because the heat this year. I have to say, the aircon was much better, and probably the best Cancon I've been to as far as the heat control of the buildings. Saturday, it was 35, and the aircon handled it just fine. Sunday, it was 40, and definitely more than the aircon could handle.
For our American listeners, what's that in freedom units?
Oh Jesus!
Oh, I don't even know anymore. I think 40.
Is it double and
Is-
add 10 or something?
No,
I think
goodness, no.
40 is
That would be
cresting the
90.
high 90s.
Yeah, that's
No,
100.
40 would be over 100.
Yeah, 104.
104.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at the point where humidity matters a little bit at that point, but it's hot enough.
You
You
shouldn't be going outside. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Humidity mainly mattered
So-
because it was evaporative cooling, and evaporative cooling only really works when the humidity is below like 50-40%.
Going from a house with evaporative to a house with a fucking split system is like, oh, it's so good. Fucking just turn the split system on and it just goes.
So thank you out there to Ivory, who finished their round 5 early and did water runs for me, so I could make it through round 5.
I felt so bad. Ivory was like real. Ivory came over like real peppy during round 5, and they weren't even really doing anything. They're like leaning over the table, like giving me really significant looks, and I just turned to them. I'm like, I need you to like not be here right now. And they were like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
You told me to bugger off too at one point.
Too. like, I love you guys dearly. I just need to think right now.
speculated murdered my dying. Fuck off.
Literally that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's because I went, Dukash has immunity armor. And Pete's like, does he? Thanks. And then I walked away.
It wasn't even that either. It was the fact that you didn't know he'd already taken a wound. So the result
No,
of
it
the
wasn't
roll
marked.
were immaterial, and it was like, God damn
Yeah.
it. You just fucking caused me so much stress for no reason.
Ooh.
As
Oh
far
my
as the
God, it's a
third goal,
diagram.
yes, round 1 was provisioning, and I successfully used a dazer meaningfully. So that was checked off. I went first, and top of 3, I had 3 boxes in my safe zone. So the Malictos came out, put a dazer out of line of fire, but so that it covered more than my safe zone. Then went out and popped 2 mines down as well. Now that it's move 5 because of the difficult terrain it's just put down.
Because of the
And-
dazer, yes.
Yeah. And that just added several more orders for my opponent to even get into my safe zone, to the point that when I passed turn, they did not have enough orders to clear to get through the dazer, to get through the mines, to get through the models that were already there, to get anywhere near the boxes.
Yeah, I'm looking at this diagram
only
going,
downside
if I had 10 orders, I don't think I could clear this safe area.
Yes, yeah. So it turned out it was an interesting turn 3 fortification for first player who was up.
If I had a dazer, I would have won that game against Jordan.
Ooh.
So you
You had a dazer,
successfully
if
used a
you had a dazer, I would have
dazer.
won that game in turn 2.
Yeah, probably. So the dazer was successful.
Yes. So check. Goals accomplished. Provisioning did bring up another interesting situation that I had not encountered before. If you can flip to the next. And that is an interaction inside Next Wave with Holobask. My opponent deployed Pandora and 2 Steel Jaws as a Haris. And later on, found out that that was a hollow-masked Patroclus. Which brings up the question later in my mind of, could I have asked what the name of that fire team was?
Mm.
Because it would have revealed that it was a shadow fire team and not a research fire team.
I mean, fire teams are open information.
As far as I can tell, yes, that would be a valid question to ask, and it's open information. Because the only thing in fire team that's explicitly private is the fire team bonus. But it's something that I never had come up before, and I don't think before Next Wave it
Fire team chart
was something that
isn't part of your army list, right? So the actual chart itself isn't part of your army list. It doesn't actually matter what the name of the fire team is. I don't think the fire team name actually comes into the game at all. I think it's just fluff. So
it does if the fire team gives bonuses that are or grants abilities that are not like part of the fire team bonus. So like the Tarlock fire teams give terrain jungle to every member of that fire teams. Oh no, like yeah. So
it's the only, I think probably the only thing that makes it better. Probably the only fire team in the game.
Like someone who is going to know the answer to this.
I don't think there is a definitive answer.
I don't think there's a. As far as I know, rules is written, it's yes, with the caveat that I don't think this is a situation that's ever been relevant before. So I'm not sure if it's was not included because it had not come up, or if it's just something that gets.
I appreciate that if this does work as intended, where you don't know the name of the fire team, it's still it's still not the most interesting bit of Patroclus tech that I learned over the weekend.
Oh no, the best bit of Patroclus tech. Holy shit!
Yeah,
actually,
Josh, please tell us about the best bit of Patroclus tech.
I believe it was Gwen had Patroclus Hollowmast as a gearhead cyber plug and didn't have any puzzlers in her list.
That's fucking incredible.
So her opponent, which I believe was Dion was telling me about this, spent his entire game dancing around puzzlers that did not exist in the list until Patroclus revealed.
That's such a good idea.
Hard committed to it as well. Made their opponent like turn around. Like no,
yeah, fully
so
deployed
good.
hidden information stuff. Brilliant. Obviously, you can't start Patroclus linked then, but doesn't really matter because Patroclus is basically a one-man fire team.
Literally doesn't matter. It is the best. That is the best use of Hollow Mask I've seen in a long fucking time.
That's so good. That's so good.
Remove puzzles from the game, please. Please and thank you.
Give them Dogged instead.
They should give them Dogged.
No.
And give Imatron's repeaters.
Biters 0 and Dogged. So if once they reveal, they are Dogged and they die at the end of the turn.
That'd be interesting.
All right, Nick.
Some other interesting things that happened. Area of interest. Rob and I finally met. Somehow we had never met before, in person or otherwise.
That was my favorite interaction because I asked you, "Who's your opponent, Nick?" And you showed me your phone. I'm like, I don't know who that is. And then I look across and I go, "Oh, look, it's Rob Shepard." And you're like, "Who?" And you're like, "Oh, that's what Rob Shepard looks like."
I think part of it is, having never met him in person and only listened to his videos. He has a announcer voice that he uses for his videos. And this is not quite close enough to his normal voice for me to connect them. So it was an excellent game, and Rob has covered it well on his channel. You should go look at his coverage of it. We already talked some about Hardlock. So at the pub Saturday night, when I got there was someone sitting by themselves and was like, okay, cool, let's community build, grab you and pull you in and join up tables. So we sat there and talked for hour and a half about our lists in detail. and then played each other round 4 the next, or round 5 the next
Oh
day.
no!
So, we both knew each other's plans for going into Hardlock because we discussed them at the pub.
Did your mind immediately go make a new plan?
No, I won the roll. I was prepared to hard second that mission, but knowing my opponent, like their skill level plus the list they were playing and the list I was playing, decided that I didn't think they could hard second into me. And I was pretty sure they knew that I could alpha them harder than they could survive going second, especially in a hard second. But it did, like, they did take their entire, they were going back and forth, and so I let them know, deploy. When you're done deploying, let me know if I'm going first or second. And it did take their entire deployment to go back and forth on going second is better, but not sure if can survive going second into the list that they already knew what was in it. So, it was still fun, and I would totally have the conversation again.
Just so long as just so long as it's not like Rob Cantrell or Hector or
I don't know, partly like I'd already published my list.
That's true.
So if they really wanted to know, they could know.
That's very true. That's very true.
So,
yeah.
My thoughts on the meta in general. If you go to next, we touched a little bit. For ITS17, the tactical support options, they are definitely growing on me. In provisioning, I pulled automatic success and used that to extract the supply box that was deposited in my opponent's safe zone. So the role that is watched more carefully by other models and has a penalty, just succeed, done, out of there. But in Hardlock, my opponent drew cancel, and so that just kind of, I think the cancel card needs to be removed.
Yeah, it should not exist. Just flat out.
I'd be okay keeping it in there if there's more than one draw. So if you're drawing 2 or more tactical support, I think cancel will work. But because most of the missions require you to draw only 1, cancel needs to be removed because it just nullifies the work you've just done. And there's no tactical use of, I cancel my opponent's only card. If you've got 2 or more, you've got options. Like, okay, do I cancel this one of my opponent's cards or that one of my opponent's cards? There's a choice, and even though you're removing some of the options that were given, you chose which ones to remove, and so it was still an active decision, rather than, one of us drew the cancel, I guess we don't get to play with that rule today.
Yeah.
Radial deployments, they were a little rough when they started, but I think people have learned how to design terrain on the tables to suit radial deployment. And now that, at least from the experiences Cancon, people are familiar with how to and how not to make a table for radial deployment, it's going much better. And the amount of variety is great. The same list will play differently in a regular deployment versus radial deployment.
I can
Rob
definitely. Oh, sorry. I was just say I can definitely say from experience, since this packet is so small and we run a bunch of 2-day events in Australia. Basically, we as TOs have decided that we can grab old missions, make them radial, and I think that makes them play different enough to be super interesting.
If you
Yes.
make me play Radial Acquisition, I will kill you.
I won't make you play radial acquisition.
Good. I will just.
No one's
I'll
making you
ac-
do anything, Jordan.
I will actually just put the heaviest fucking mod. I will buy someone's Magariba guard and put it in a fucking sock.
Radial, capture and protect.
Radial original B-pong.
Yeah. Radial tic-tac-toe. I don't think it works.
Yeah.
That would take 20 minutes to set up.
Radial deadly dance.
Okay, now we're getting too crazy. Take a step back.
So, Rob had a really good comment in his analysis of our game about my list, his list, and that mission in particular. I agree with him. I hadn't thought of it before, but completely agree with him. My list played just fine into his list. My list played just fine into radial deployment. My list struggled into his list in radial deployment. And that is it's because it added just enough extra distance between my models and where my models needed to be that it changed the dynamics of my order pool.
Right.
And that's made me appreciate radial deployment even more, in that it can change how a specific army will act on the table. It'll change how two armies interact on the table. And yeah, just more options are better. You have to now plan around how you're deploying. You can't just have the mindset of, okay, it's a horizontal line. I'm going to have like this group of models in this section, this group of models in this section. Here are my arrows. You have to now think about different approaches, but you have to do both of them with the same pair of lists.
I think, and if anyone is like concerned about like setting up tables for it, if you ever played Power Pack, it's easier than setting up Power Pack than setting up for Power Pack was. Power Pack sucked to set up tables for. Radial deployments are actually pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, you just we did have one table that I played on that mercifully worked well enough. It's just don't leave like the corners bare, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
You have to. You just
I
have
think
to
of all the tables
recognize.
that got set up, only one of them got packed down before the event and replaced, which is good.
Yeah.
You just have to recognize what angles the models are actually going to be facing each other from. It's not directly on anymore. So you have to be mindful of where the cover, what actually covers stuff. Like, is there going to be an easy way to get an angle straight down a building or something like that?
Yeah, I think because people were talking about it because we got there early, is if you do the whole setting up your table on the diagonal that people often do, that generally covers it.
One thing I've also taken to putting on radial deployment tables, and most of my tables now, is an objective room that's just off-centered. So not just plop down the middle, but using the objective room as a way to break up the sight lines across the entire battlefield. So
yeah,
now I can be a little bit more liberal with the number of high perches that might be in a DZ, especially if the table is being used for both radial and horizontal deployment, without putting in another high building to try to block the lines of sight from the high buildings. So, hard lock we've already discussed, so no need to get into that. Yeah, I guess Mickey brings up, really enjoyed our Crossing Lines match in round 3. And actually, I think, Tristan, you asked about the EM. So it was a really interesting, intense game that ended in a 4-all draw because we scored evenly the entire time. Every round of Crossing Lines, we both had our closest deployment, or closest dead zone, and at the end of turn 3, both of us had 1 button. Mickey brought lots and lots of EM, and spec-fired EM at that, whereas I brought a lot of marker states. His Anaconda was possessed at the top of his second turn, I think in the first order. But then immediately glue-gunned and then engaged. So I didn't get to play with that. Emily Candlewood was in a duo, I believe, deployed in the middle zone for Crossing Lines, which then let her spec fire most of the board in good range bands with EM grenades.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, really, really fun game. The results of it did not in any way portray how exciting it was of a game to end in a. We just both ticked up the same boxes the whole way.
Yep. I was playing against a Shinden player who put Yojimbo in the forward zone and then yeeted 2 crazy koalas right in front of me. And I was like, oh my god, what do I do now? Very fun.
I killed all of Rob Wright's specialists.
The Crossing Lines game did show me how good Icadrons can be now that they have Dogged.
Oh,
my
because
god. Don't even start.
In the middle, he's like, I've got flamethrowers that are watching your stuff. Also, if you don't take care of me before your turn, I'm a repeater. So I
a
think
repeater, and I'm worth 31 points in your zone. So good.
So I think the Icadron ate 5 or 6 orders. If you include the orders to get stuff into position to go after it, that weren't going to be flamethrowered as a link if they activated. There we go. Yes, 5 orders to get Fiddler up to there and super jump, because Dogged and remote presence don't care as much about T2 as you would think they should.
Absolutely not.
So. Yeah. Well, after this event, I am very convinced that the game is in an incredibly healthy state. Like, almost the best state that I think I've ever played it in.
I think it just is, flat out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be that person who then, like, a year from now goes, oh my god, it was actually fucking terrible, and, blah, blah, blah. But honestly,
you listen to, like, the things that people complain about right now. Last year or last edition, it was guided. It's like, oh, it's so boring, it's uninteractive. And now it's like, people are complaining about, like, flyers being too good because they interact too much and they move too quickly. Like, I'd much rather the big boogeyman be a bunch of S7 bricks that have no cover.
Yeah. It's the gone are the days of, ARO is just not worth it, or like doing a particular thing.
Hold on.
No,
AROs are insane last edition.
Well, it's more like the back when, like, the fire teams were like peak, so to speak. Vanilla was just hard to play. Now, like, if we took a look at the spread, there's plenty of vanilla almost across the board in every single faction.
I think that's also actually been healthy as well. Like, obviously, some factions don't get great vanilla link teams. Some factions do get amazing vanilla link teams. But just having everyone have access to link teams just makes the game easier. It makes it easier for new players to get involved. Like, new players could never touch a vanilla for like the first year of their Infinity career because it was way too complicated.
It was
Yeah,
just too bloated. Like there was just too
Yeah.
many units in a fucking vanilla.
absolutely. Yeah. Every faction feels good to play. Like, you still have the NA2 kind of semi-hard mode if you really want to do that. But aside from that, I feel like every faction is standing on its own legs really well. And the missions are new, interesting. We've still got a lot of stuff to explore with them over the next year. And such is a good extra. Tactical support options are growing on us. And the new classified decks going well as well.
Play sensor bots.
Play sensor bots. I can't believe there was a time we didn't think sensor bots were good, and we had to had to give them tack aware, ECM hacker, and marksmanship to make them like, please take them. They're 14 points.
Yeah.
Luke raises a good point. Are Satches too much of an auto include? I believe they probably are. They like I'm gonna cry sad tears when Next Wave loses them.
I haven't found them to be too impactful at all. That just might be my experience, but I've not run them because I needed the 3 points elsewhere and just had a war core. I've seen them be useful as specialists, but I haven't really seen them shine so much that I would ever complain about them. They're nice, they're fun, they're a good addition, but whatever. They're better than the fucking Xenotech many seasons ago.
Important distinction
the more specialist hungry you are, the better that the Thatcher get.
Important distinction that auto include doesn't mean overpowered.
Yeah.
No. I'm saying like I've not had it in my lists and I've been fine. So I don't think it's needed if you need the points elsewhere.
Yeah, that's a good point, Tristan, where I'd say they're not always an auto include, but I think that also depends on the sectoral and, like we said, how specialist hungry that sectoral is. Because at 6 points, they're no longer the 3-point war core. But you are getting much more out of them than a 3-point war core, and that's part of the fun. You're getting to play around with booty, you're getting to play around with EM weapons, you're getting to play around with climbing plus, and I think that's been part of the spice of the ITS seasons. Here's a tool that not everyone is playing with much. Let's remember what it is and use it in a fun way and see if that refreshes people's memories of them and give them another try later.
Absolutely.
I guess the only other thing I'd like to say is before we head off, thank you to all the very lovely people who came up and said hi and everything about to their fans of Lost of Lieutenant. It was still a little bit overwhelming that there are people that actually listen to us.
Yes.
I think the biggest thing was people that came up to us and said, thanks for your bloody blah episode. It really helped me with this tournament. I had 2 or 3 people be like, thanks for your Cancon episode. I was like, all right, yeah, cool.
Excellent. Yeah, that's always nice to hear.
Yes. Please feed us compliments. We love it.
Give me compliments. I said give me.
We're not demanding compliments, but I'm demanding compliments. So
if you like content, let us know so we can make more of it.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, ladies. Comments. Yes, in the comments. Everywhere.
Get in the comments.
Private message. I'll take anything. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Carrier pigeon?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd be very concerned if a carrier pigeon showed up.
Hogwarts owl.
From Helsinki.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I've been Tristan.
I've been Nick.
Ooh.
I've been Jacob.
Ooh.
I've been Josh.
And I've been Jordan.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Night. We'll never get that right.